Investigation has really started to wind down to the routine. We still have a whole lot of work to do, and it's going to take a long time to put everything together. But all the important things that needed to be done are done. We still have a lot of background to do with the suspect in this case, but he's in custody, and we know that there's considerable evidence that he specifically targeted the Congresswoman.
Right. I understand you found some stuff at his house, at his parents' house, that indicate he may have been threatening her as far back as 2007.
That's only partly correct. The 2007 documents that were found were as a result of some correspondence between him and the Congresswoman.
Okay.
They were not related to what happened a few days ago.
And I'm going to talk about the weapon and how he acquired it. He acquired it legally. Everything he had in his possession, he had legally and had registered. All of those things, every part of it?
That's correct.
And what is it about Arizona's gun law that, I mean, did he have no history of mental problems that had been registered or something with the state?
Unless someone has been declared mentally incompetent officially by the courts, there's no way that the gun dealers have access to any other history.
And Arizona's gun law, how many days, what kind of waiting period? When he bought the gun, he bought it, I believe, is it in October of last year?
November.
November. And did he have was there a waiting period? Was there any sort of competency test, anything that Arizona law provides?
No, there's no competency test at all. You have to be 21 years of age and not convicted of a felony, be a prohibited possessor, or to be declared mentally incompetent.
Now,
so
you've been
99% of the people can have a gun, and they can carry it concealed without a permit.
You've been highly critical of the rhetoric that you say, particularly in Arizona, which has been a hotbed of basically toxic political rhetoric. Senator Jon Kyl was somewhat critical of your criticism. He says to you, I didn't really think that had any part in a law enforcement briefing. It was speculation, and I don't think we should rush to speculate. How do you respond to his criticism?
Well, you know, I was expressing my feelings at the time, and I still feel precisely as I did before. I think many people, millions of people in this country, are upset with the tenor of and the attitude of our people. I think America has become very angry, and people are upset about that. They don't feel that our government is working together to solve problems, and the reason they feel that way is because they're not. And people are very, very angry. There are people in the industry that you're in who make a pretty good living off of keeping the public very angry. And I think that there are a lot of political people that feel that it's to their advantage to keep people angry at the government.
What about Arizona's gun laws? Are you somebody that would like to see them changed? You were also somewhat critical of those over the weekend, I noticed.
Changing them at this point, I don't think would serve any useful purpose. I hate to see any more laws enacted. There's one bill now in the House, I believe, that would allow teachers and students to carry weapons concealed without a permit on campuses. And to me, that's just insane. The universities and colleges ought to be allowed to control their own campuses. This just doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you have any security advice to other elected officials? Obviously, one piece of advice, it seems to be, is turn down the rhetoric, and I think everybody's looking in the mirror, myself included, a lot of people hopefully looking in the mirror on that front. But what advice can you have to other elected officials about interacting with the public and dealing with these threats now?
Well, I know specifically that there's a lot of angst in Congress and in other places about elected officials. They have incredible security while they're in Washington, but the minute they leave and go back into their respective jurisdictions, they go out into the public, they go to 4 or 5 events every day. The police don't even know that they're out there doing these things, and I think it's time to take a closer look, because I think that there's still a lot of vulnerability. There's still a lot of disturbed people out there. There might be copycats, and I think that it's something that the feds need to work very closely with the state and local officials to see if we can do a better job of protecting our elected officials.
And are you convinced, how quickly should you say the investigation, just to wrap up on the investigation part, the investigation into Loeffner is pretty much done, you're pretty much finished collecting evidence? Does that mean we should see a pretty quick court process, conviction, etc.?
Well, that's very difficult to predict. As you know, the court process is very, very slow. The first charges have been are being filed in federal court, I believe, today, and he's making an appearance. How long this process is going to take, who knows? It may take a couple of years. Then there's state charges to be filed, homicide and aggravated assault and so forth. So this could go on for years.
Sheriff Dupnik, I know you have to go. I appreciate you getting up very early this morning, and frankly, I'm sure you're just not getting much sleep. And my condolences. I know you lost some friends, Judge Roll and some others, in this thing, and I know this has been personally very difficult for you.
That's correct, but thank you very much.
Well, up next, the debate about whether political speech had anything to do with this moment and whether, frankly, it's just simply too toxic. Saturday's attack reopened